right, so let's get into the most important part of the platform, which is the loan origination flow and how to create a loan in the system. So we support numerous ways of creating a loan. Let's start with the quick app and the full app concept. So via your website, you can embed our forms so a borrower or a broker or loan officer can fill out the quick app or the full app. There's two different forms, right? And any user that logs in that has a seat can create a quick app or a full app, right? So a back office user, a branch level user, broker or loan officer, or even a borrower can log into the user portal to create that quick app or full app accordingly. Additionally, you can have third-party integrations with Salesforce or HubSpot or any other vendor, that supports what's called webhooks, and they can post over the data into our system to create that record. Okay, so in a few minutes, I'm going to originate a loan from start to scratch. From start to finish, right? So let's start with the assumption we're doing this from a website. So here we have a sample website template. We actually sell these templates for people that want to get up and running quickly. Okay, and you can change the color scheme, change the words. All right, so this is one template that we offer. This is another template that we offer. Okay, and they all have the web form baked in, right? So if you see here, get funded or apply now, it takes you to our web form. So you can see the first question is, are you a broker working with one? A broker can actually register on these forms, right? And they're now listed in your broker directory, and then they select the loan product. But maybe I'm not a broker, I'm just a borrower, so that you would leave that as no. And you can disable that altogether if you want, right? So I'm going to select fix and flip. And by the way, all these loan products you can turn on and off, or you can custom create your own loan products here, all right? And based on the product selected, it's going to dynamically display the questions that are relevant to that product. And you get to control that type of configuration, okay? So a lot of it's already done for you, it's pre-built, but we all know that this industry is not standardized. So, every customer that we onboard usually likes to, personalize it and control what's their definition of a quick app, right? And how they want their full app to work. So you'll be able to relabel fields, turn them on and off, and make them conditional to the loan program selected here, okay? So just to show you, this is a fix and flip. So we've got experience related questions, number of years, number of properties. We've got the ARV, construction budget, LTC calculations, exit plan, right? Now if we pivot to, say, a rental loan, some of these questions are going to change, and we're going to start asking about cash flow of the property. If we go to, say, an SBA loan, we're going to start asking SBA questions, right? So that's an example of a dynamic, smart loan intake form, okay? So here's our fix and flip quick app. Once this is filled out, it automatically goes to your back end, and it notifies all the parties involved. And it sends you an email. It automatically populates a PDF for you, and then it goes into the pipeline as well. Okay, so there's Frank the Flipper. It'll go in your application started category here. Then you click on the file, and it opens up the quick app for Frank the Flipper. And as you scroll down, you could see all the data that was filled out on the web form. Okay, you can click here and get the Zillow value. And that actually takes you right away to the Zillow the link on Zillow. And here's all your calculations. If you want to change any of the down payments, if I were to change that to 10, it actually warns me that I violated some of the guidelines in my system here. And, so I'm ready to call the borrower up, build some rapport, or maybe I'm ready to send out a term sheet, right? So let's go over here to the loan info section, and let's price out this loan. So here I enter in the interest rate, I set the loan term, and let's see here, it auto calculates the payment. Oh, you have to set the amortization as well. And all the fees and costs, right? They can actually auto-populate, okay? So you can teach the system, like, what are your default application fees or appraisal fees or processing fees, and you can make it all product specific. So if you do a construction loan or a non-QM loan, you can have all your preset fees that are for that product. And then it tells you what the estimated funds to net funds to title should be. What are the required reserves? What's the estimated cash to close? Right? And what are some other additional questions that might be applicable or you might want to populate on a term sheet? So if you fill these out, it makes your term sheet, which looks like this, complete. If you leave something out, it doesn't populate on the term sheet. So you could have a really skinny term sheet, or you can have a really robust, longer term sheet. It's based on what you fill out on the loan info section, okay? So here's the last item here is like a text box. Again, that's boilerplate based on the product selected, okay? So you have a really strong built-in term sheet that's e-signable, right? So let's get this out to the client ASAP, and before competition sends them a term sheet. So I click here to compose mail, and I'm going to select Frank, the borrower. I'm going to choose one of these templates that I have pre-built. Everybody gets these templates out of the box. So here's a pre-approval email, and everything's pre-written. Isn't that sweet? And you click down here to attach the credit authorization, term sheet. These are all built-in documents, right? And you can add your own from outside our system, and it'll pre-populate. And once you send this, let's take a look at what the borrower sees on their end. So they're going to get an email that looks something like this. Hey Frank, you're pre-approved, congratulations. Here's a link to the full app, and then here's a link to sign the term sheet. So if I click there, I can actually e-sign the term sheet within minutes. And there it is. I just click here to sign it. I can draw my signature, I can type it. And then the second call to action, which is equally important, is the link to the full app. And this is where everything pre-populates, okay, from the quick app. And let me reiterate something. Everybody probably has a different opinion what should be on their full app. You control your full app. What fields, what sections need to be present, and they can be conditional to the loan program. Just reinforcing that, okay? So I'm going to scroll through slowly and show you, like, this is an example of a full app. Yours can look different. You can collect schedule of real estate, their net worth summary. You can grab individual financial accounts, who are the members and officers of an entity, all the property characteristics, okay? Even lockbox number. We're very granular if you want to get granular. Here's all the loan terms that are locked with that. You see that symbol here? So it's on read-only mode. And these are all additional questions that you want to grab. Who are all the third-party contacts on the file that the borrower is going to work with on their title, attorney, insurance, escrow, right? Tell us more about the deal. Please agree to my terms and conditions, right? And actually they can draw their signature on this web form, right? You have a CAPTCHA here on the bottom. I could save and finish later. Perhaps I didn't fill in everything 100%, so I could save and finish my work, or I can choose to submit. Now watch this. This is where it gets really powerful. It takes me to the required docs section. So the system knows what are all the required docs needed based on the product type, also the transaction type. Is it a purchase? Is it a refi? Right? Is it, what type of borrower are we dealing with? LLC? Is it an S corp? What about property type? Is it a condo? Is it SFR? Is it a what's it called? A gas station or a hotel or an office building? Based on the property type, will trigger certain documents that are needed. So there's numerous variables that can trigger that. So you always are collecting the right documents automatically, right? So that's the key. It's almost like AI, like first generation AI. Once you teach the system how to do it, it runs automatically, okay? So that's the doc collection tool. There's all kinds of detailed features, like I could click this template icon and it'll give me this template to download. I'll fill it out and re-upload it. There's tooltips baked in here so that I teach everybody, hey, for bank statements, we're looking for 2 months of statements to show 3 months reserves, right? So that you can put in tooltips to help everybody understand what you need and why. Okay, and as your processors make comments on certain items, you'll be able to mouse over and see a conversation log about what's going on with each required doc. Okay, so now let's get into the back end and see what you just got from Frank. Okay, so first off, you'll get an email, that Frank uploaded some files and completed that. You'll also have an activity feed showing you everything that's been happening, so you can see Frank Flipper filled out his full app and uploaded some documents. Okay, so the activity feed is like the pulse of your company. It's showing you in real time across all loan files what's going on, and you can break that down by different types of activity, by different stages of your organization, like what's happening in the processing world, right? So that's a cool feature. And so let's go into Frank's file, and I'm interested to see the docs that were uploaded, and I'm going to put my processing hat on right now and see what's going on with all the docs. Okay, so here I'm reviewing everything that's been uploaded. Here's my status drop down, so I can change the status and say, hey, this needs a signature, this is the wrong doc, it's incomplete, see notes, or ideally you're putting everything's okay, right? Once you mark it as okay, it changes right away to green, and your goal is to get everything green. And then you can make your comments here, right? And then you can turn things on and off as necessary, okay? So that's your required docs tool. From a processor standpoint, I just dispositioned everything. So now I need to update the borrower and let him know what's been received and what's the status. Watch this powerful tool. Loan status required docs is a template that already loads up with the body loaded up with all of the required docs and the current color code showing what's missing, what's needed. All the notes that were made by the team are showing up here. And I'm going to do something really cool. I'm going to automate this email to go out every weekday until the file is in clear to close or a closed loan status. Right? Because I think it's important that the borrower be notified. I think it's also important that the broker stay notified about what's going on, right? And let's see what the email looks like on the receiving end for both borrower and broker, right? And whoever else I CC'd, including processors, underwriters, managers, etc. Right? So if we look on the email template, what does it look like? Like this. Hey Frank, this is an automated email to show you the items that we've received in the current loan status. Please refer to the status of each item and resend anything if needed. This email will go out every day, and it will change based off of what you have entered in the system, right? So if you're updating all the docs, it'll show up here on each new email sent out. And then this link, right? When I click on this link, it takes me immediately to the required docs engine. So that is awesome, right? Like, how user-friendly is that? How strong is that borrower experience? I can easily upload from my mobile phone, right? I can take a picture from my camera and it loads it right into the system, okay? So I can clearly see all the items that are uploaded and still missing in order for this loan to close at this closing date, all right? So moving a little bit further, down the path of closing this loan, in the next video we'll do a marketplace feature to shop the loan, but right now what I want to do is finish originating this loan. So we've got all the loan docs. It went through underwriting. Well, actually, let's show you something. I want to go to the workflow area, and let's make sure we cover the underwriting workflow steps. These are all the workflow steps that need to be marked off, okay? And you can check these boxes to see who did what and when, right? And you can see who marked those off, right? So these are our workflow steps, and you can click here and make a comment, and then you can also change the status of everything. I can add additional workflow steps, right? Because these are defaulted, right? But what if I wanted to add a new workflow step because something unique is going on with this loan? So you can always do that. And their workflow steps are available from multiple areas. So watch this. I'm in the dashboard view now, and I'm looking at my upcoming closings, and I want to see what's going on with these workflow steps. All right, so here's my application workflow for this file, and here I can, click there. I can make additional notes or questions. I can notify different people on the file. Okay. So right from the dashboard, under the loan file, I have all my workflow steps. I have all my required docs visible. Powerful stuff to help streamline the origination life cycle of a deal. And lastly, once you have all your steps done and the file has moved, through the stages here from processing, underwriting, clear to close, close loans, like that's the life cycle of a deal. Once you get it past all those stages and you want to close the loan, you probably want to generate some docs, right? So I'm going to go to the docs tab here, and let's look at some closing docs. So here's my loan docs. I've got let's say a promissory note. On one click, I'm generating everything pre-populated, ready to be submitted to the attorney or title, right? Take it to the closing table. And so we can auto-generate all types of documents for all kinds of use cases, okay? Closing instructions, closing docs, executive summaries, mortgage statements, etc.